Is Neasa O'Connor, and I'm the International Student Recruitment Manager here for the College of Science, Engineering and Food Science here at UCC. And I'm delighted to be joined by some of our amazing, I suppose, current students and alumni from lots of different areas in STEM, that they've studied in STEM, and also, I suppose, right across different countries as well. I'm just going to ask everyone to, I suppose, briefly introduce themselves. So I'm just going to start with no particular order, but the order of your face on my screen, guys. And that's how I'll do it. So Octavio, would you be able to just tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from and what you studied in UCC?
Sure. So yeah, as you just mentioned, my name is Octavio. I come from Mexico City, and I studied at UCC my master's in data science and analytics. I started that, was it 4 years ago in 2000? Actually, I finished it 4 years ago. I started in 2016, and yeah, that was my master's. And then after that, I started working in Dublin for 3 years in the same area. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Thanks, Octavio. And Angela, if you don't mind as well, giving a quick intro.
Yes, so hi everybody. I'm from Colombia. I did there my bachelor's in industrial microbiology. Then I went to UK to do my master's in molecular biology with biotechnology. And then in 2018, I started my PhD in UCC in yeast biotechnology, and I'm still on the process in the 3rd year. And currently I'm in France finishing my project. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Anja. And Johana, can you give me a quick intro too?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Johana Elizabeth. I am from Honduras. I have a bachelor's in mathematics education from the Pedagogical University of Honduras. Then I moved to Cork in 2015 to study a master's in mathematical modeling and scientific computing. And right now I am pursuing a PhD in mathematics and science education at Washington State University in the United States.
Cool, thanks. And Larissa?
Hello, everyone. I'm Larissa. I'm from Brazil. I did my bachelor's in geology in Brazil from University Federal de Sergipe. And I also did 1 year of my bachelor's in UCC as part of the Science Without Borders program. And now I'm currently doing a PhD in marine geology from the School of Bees, the School of Biological and Earth and Environmental Sciences. And I'm on my 2nd year of PhD.
Perfect, thanks, Larissa. So I suppose as well, just joining us today is Cliona, and she's the lady who holds it all together here for this community. She's our Latin American Strategy Officer. So I just want to introduce her before we jump into some questions.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, delighted to be here and thanks for joining. So my job in UCC is to develop links with Latin America, and our students and Latin American community staff and students are a very important part of that. And it's really like a family. The Latin American students really feel at home straight away, and you know, they all join forces and really help to let Cork and UCC know more about Latin America. So it's a two-way process. So yeah, here, happy to help with any admissions, questions, accommodation, anything you need. Thanks.
Yeah, so just before I suppose we jump into questions, I am going to ask anyone, if you do have a question, there's no problem if you do want to unmute yourself after someone talks, but we will be doing a quick Q&A at the end of a couple of questions here anyway. So feel free, if you're feeling shy and you're sick of the virtual world, just to pop in your questions into the chat box, and myself and Cliona will look through them at the end anyway, and either ourselves or the panelists might want to kind of answer as well from their experience too. So guys, first of all, I suppose such a very easy question to start off with for you all, and I'm sure you all have different opinions and different experiences. We'd love to know just in general, because I suppose I was an international student myself. I really understand the experience is just as important as the kind of academic learning as well. So I'd love you to tell me your insights regarding, let's say, living in Cork and living in Ireland. and what you've enjoyed, or just your experiences in general. So Angela, I might start with you. I hope I'm not picking on anyone by starting with you anyway, okay?
It's okay. So, well, I moved, as I said, in 2018, and I was living before that in UK. So I was abroad for 1.5 years out of my country. But I have to say, like, from being in one country and then go to Ireland, I can see the difference, and I appreciated the quality of people that I found in Ireland, and it's my number one. I went there, you take your bag, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go do a PhD, all new, you don't know anyone, just like some emails with the person that is, about the contract and all of these arrangements. And then you go there without friends, it's like totally new. But as soon as I arrived, from the time I stood in Cork airport, the experience was very, very nice. People are very helpful. They like to see international people around, which is something that I really appreciate. That I'm in France and I've been in UK, and you feel the difference, like Irish people are like very welcoming, and they ask questions. They are interested about knowing about your country, your culture. So it has been very nice experience. I got used to the culture and the environment very easy, very fast. And UCC I think has everything ready for international students. With Cliona, it was very easy to meet my Latino culture, my Latino friends, let's say. As soon as I arrived, my supervisor was in contact with Cliona, and they said, okay, there's this event, and they are Colombian and other countries, and you can meet them. So I was like very happy to go there, and as soon as you walk in, you feel like you're like kind of home with the people you find there. And the fact that I bond with them, like I got to meet them, this is also a help for me, because they are like, okay, if you need to do the registration, the bank account, and all of these things, they help you. They guide you in a way. They say, okay, you have to go there, you do this is the way, you talk to this person, and this is how it worked. And so far, everything has been very good. And, now with the pandemic, the situation is a bit different, but I have to say it was easy, and compared to the other experiences that I had abroad, Ireland was very, very nice, and UCC is very organized and ready to welcome international people. So yeah, that was my experience. I don't know if that's okay.
No, that's perfect. Larissa, you actually popped up on my screen, so I'm going to jump to you next, just for your experience of living in Ireland or Cork, or any insights you have there. Oh, sorry, you're on mute.
I'm muted.
No,
okay.
You're grand.
Okay. So I have actually, I think I share a lot of similarities with Angela in the terms of Cork being very welcoming. Ireland itself is very welcoming. In my case, I have two different experiences. The first one was as an undergrad. So that was my first experience, like leaving my country. And that was in 2015. And I think it was one of the best decisions I've done for my bachelor's. I mean, coming to Ireland, coming to UCC was really good. I can't stop saying that. When I arrived here, I felt very welcome from the beginning. And one thing that I actually really enjoyed was this factor of having a lot of activities planned for international students. And also the lectures and all the department is actually ready to welcome you and to make sure that you were adapting well to the environment, which I thought it was a surprise, and it was very different for me. So it was a positive experience overall. And I also enjoyed a lot of the fact that there were active societies and clubs that you were able to join, make new friends, and be together with people that are like-minded. So that was a very good experience for me. And now as a PhD student, the experience has been equally positive. I love my research. I love working with my supervisors. I love being part of these. And what I can say is that even like during COVID, for example, there's a lot of support from everyone in the department. People are actually asking you if you are well, if you have gone home, how is your family? So that makes the whole experience very positive and nice overall. So yeah, it's been a great experience, and I would recommend to everyone that can come.
Thanks, Larissa. And Johana, if you don't mind just giving some insights into your experience too, that'd be great.
Sure. So living in Ireland was a lifetime experience. It was totally different to what I am used to. Well, the weather, food, educational system, and the English accents. It was just different. But besides all these parties, Cork was a great city. I had the opportunity to do outreach activities and volunteer in Irish charity organizations, which try to overcome the challenges of poverty and injustice in the developing world. And I joined that organization specifically because they work to tackle climate change in Honduras. So it was amazing to be a volunteer in this kind of organizations and think that Irish people care about Latin America and about what is happening in the other part of the world, and be helping my country from Ireland. So that was just amazing. And so what else? From Cork, I also remember that it's a safe and friendly place to live. I remember celebrating St. Patrick's Day, having the 4 seasons in one day, having a pint of Guinness after a class, and enjoying Irish music in a pub. So I certainly experienced the Irish culture in Cork City.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really understand the 4 seasons in one day until they're here. It's hard to understand, I think. Thanks. Octavio, would you mind giving me just your experience of living in Ireland or Cork? I know you're living in Dublin now, so you probably have a bit of a mix.
Sure. So yeah, like my experience in Cork, and Cliona knows this story perfectly. It was quite quick about the way I had to take the decision of leaving my country and then decide to move and do the master's. For me, it was really the first time that I was leaving my country, first time ever. So like at that moment, I had absolutely no reference at all of what Cork meant or what Ireland meant or what I should be expecting of it. Like, as I said, it was just a decision of deciding to do the master's, and then 3 weeks later I needed to take a flight to move to Cork. So during those 3 weeks, you almost have like no chance at all to know exactly what you're going into or what you are about to experience. But I have to say that one of the first things that I noticed, it was how warm the country was, and how, you know, the warmth that you can feel from its people. That for me was quite shocking, because I thought I was moving into a country that was colder. Well, I mean, technically the weather makes you feel colder, but the people are just extremely friendly, and just as Angela was saying, even when you are in a bus stop, someone from Cork may look at you and then may start asking you, like, where are you from? It's extremely friendly. Like, you may have a really friendly conversation just waiting for the bus there. So yeah, like, it was a bit of a shocking experience, but in a really positive way. Like, I come from Mexico City with this massive place, busy all the time, a bit, you can feel the stress almost at every moment of the day. And then when you move to Cork, it's also relaxed. It's so, it's a completely huge change, I have to say. So for me, it was extremely positive. I really would encourage people just to to give it a try, even though right now it's probably a really complicated time, but still, I have to say that I would recommend the experience to anybody, really, just to give it a try to Ireland and to Cork specifically. And yeah, as you were saying, like I've been in Dublin for now more time than the time that I lived in Cork, but still Cork, I have to say, is still a really special place. So yeah.
Guys, first of all, I'd like to thank you all. Everyone was very positive and very nice about Cork. So I actually went to UCC myself, and I traveled to different parts of the world for a few years, and I ended up back here by accident, but I never left. So that's kind of part of my story as well, as this city. So look, I'm going to move on because I'm really interested in the other side of it as well. And you all come from really different kind of, I suppose, academic backgrounds and academic actual skill sets, from data science, geology, and of course, maths as well, which is, really kind of, I suppose, something that's quite unique as well. So I want everyone to maybe just give me some of their insights into their field of STEM and I suppose their academic experience in UCC as well. Angela, I might start with you because you're on my screen, if that's okay.
Yes, so as I said, okay, I'm a industrial microbiologist with masters in molecular biology with biotechnology. And when I applied for the PhD here, I moved from working with bacteria to yeast. Maybe it's too technical words, but what I mean is like, I just found what I liked and I applied for the project, and then that include Ireland. I didn't choose the country, I chose the project and the program, and then I got to live the experience there. So I made part of the microbiology department, and this is the food and science building in UCC. And I mean, I don't know if I should get too technical for the people in science, but it has been like all the people are very, how do you say, like working together. You feel like they are all working in very applicative stuff, and we can easily communicate with one group and the other. So that has been a plus. I don't know how much in detail you want me to speak about my PhD project, maybe?
No, just in general, I suppose your academic experience and stuff like that. Just a little bit about your field. That's perfect, really. It's just to I suppose show how different, I suppose you're all involved in such different areas. That's what I think is quite exciting to see. What I mean?
So well, in the microbiology department, we have people working with a lot of microorganisms topics and very applicative to any industry. In my case, I'm in the food and science, and it's the fermented beverage industry, let's say. I'm working with wine and the yeast that are used to produce this fermented beverage. So I'm working with the aroma production of yeast with wine, and I'm also including cider in this fermented beverage. And of course, Ireland has a very good background and economy based in let's say whiskey and beer. So for me, it has been, very, very nice to be there, living the experience. The industry partners collaborating in the program are involved in these Irish industries. Also together with France. Here at the moment I'm in France, working with wine as well. They are experts in wine, but it has been very nice collaboration between academia and industry with my program. And yeah, this is the field I'm working in at the moment.
Cool, thanks. And Johana, jump to you there next. You're next on my screen.
Sure. So I did a master's in applied mathematics. So as I mentioned, I had an educational background for my undergrad. So during my master's in UCC, I learned more about the applicability of mathematics. So I got the opportunity to experience the interdisciplinary nature of STEM, combining science, technology, and mathematics in my final thesis project. So the academic experience was valuable, and it provided me the opportunity to work with a specialist in mathematics and computer science. So those were professors very knowledgeable in their fields. And most importantly, this experience helped me to better understand the integration of STEM disciplines that are more often taught in silos. So we learn math here, science here, technology. So I kind of integrate all of them in my thesis project in UCC. So that was amazing. Before starting my master's, I knew mathematics. But this academic experience made me aware of the application of math to solve problems in chemistry, industry, and other areas. So my thesis project was a combination in between mathematics and biology. Also, I didn't know about programming languages and other features in technology. So in UCC, I also opened a broad set of opportunities to expand my understanding in technical areas such as coding and also software development. So it was a very rich experience.
Thanks. And it's actually something that comes up time and again, is the kind of interdisciplinary kind of research that you're getting to work with people from different areas and different kind of skills as well to your background. It seems to be something that a lot of students I talk to bring up as well. I'm going to jump next to Octavio. You're next on my screen.
Sure. So like one of the things I forgot to mention was that I did my undergrad. It was an engineering program in business and IT. And when I was doing that, I studied one lecture about, it was actually about data science. Really was like logistic regression, if you can call it, linear regression actually, which is basically just making predictions in the future about data. So for example, I don't know, the number of cars that a business may sell in the future based on their previous history. That was, let's say, in a nutshell, the topic of it. So I found it interesting. And then later in time, when I found out the opportunity about the master's, there was this program about data science that would go deeper into this particular topic. So it was interesting because there's lots of potential in this area. You can technically use it anywhere, medical sciences, technology, anywhere where you can have a history of data stored. You can use it to learn from it and develop an algorithm or a system that can make you know what's going to happen later in the future. So there's lots of potential on it. So that's why I got interested in it. And the way you see it in UCC is you have a mix of statistics, which go from really basic concepts into more advanced stuff that was quite challenging for me, because even though I come from an engineering background, the concepts that you see in the lectures may be a bit advanced, and you know, it makes you study a bit more about the theory behind statistics. So that's one side, and then the other one, it's programming languages, because at the end of the day, you're not doing all those calculations by hand. You have to support yourself with you know, the computer, so they can help you to process all that information. So again, like even someone that may not have an experience with programming languages and with coding, the lectures there go from really basic into something much more advanced, depending on where you are. And like, I had a background, but the lectures where I was sharing lectures with people that have you know, a computer science background, statisticians, mathematicians. There's a mix of this, which makes it interesting when you have to discuss with other people or to work with them in different projects. They have these different backgrounds. So I think that's what makes it really interesting. And also have to say it's a challenging program overall. During the whole year, it was quite challenging. So yeah, quite interesting to have my master's there in UCC.
Thanks, Javier. And it's a very popular area, I suppose. Every year is more and more popular, this area as well. And even, I suppose, in the last 12 months, we're seeing all the applications of, I suppose, data science and maths modeling as well, you know, right to, I suppose, problems that we're facing with COVID as well, and how important the solutions from those areas are. So it's not just what the kind of first you'll think of as well. There's so many different applications, really. Larissa, I'm going to jump to you next. I'm obviously a bit biased because I'm a geologist by trade, so I might be leaving you to last by preference. I hope the rest of you don't judge me. But yeah, I'd love to hear about your experiences, obviously. And you can't say anything bad about the staff now, because I'll be able to tell it back to them.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Like, I really don't have anything but positive things to say about this staff, because they're very good. I mean, like, even during my undergrad, I mean, one of the differences that I felt when I left my university to study in UCC was the fact that I had all the theoretical background from my university at home, but when I got here, I could actually like put my hands on and work on rocks and lab and have practicals. So that was a really nice difference from my university back home, which was nice because then I could integrate both worlds, let's say. So integrate the theoretical part with the practical and hands-on part. I also go into the field, which is amazing, as you know, like we enjoy it a lot. So right now I'd say like I am a marine geoscientist. So my field of expertise would be marine geology and mapping. So that's what I'm doing for my PhD. In UCC, I'm part of the UCC Marine Geosciences Research Group, and we have different projects that are related to mapping the Irish seabed. And like we're doing this because Ireland might be a small country, but if you think about the fact that Ireland has a marine territory that is actually 10 times bigger than the country itself, it kind of, you can see the importance of having marine related research, especially in UCC and other parts of the country. So in Márquez in particular, I am studying cold water corals and cold water coral reefs, and we are studying how to map them effectively in a high resolution. So we're using video data, we're using images collected from robots that we deploy, and that's like the best. Like, I think to me, this is actually the most exciting part of the research, is actually going offshore and being there collecting my own data, and then you can spend 10 days inside a boat and collecting data. So yeah, to me, that's like very exciting and I love it, and I miss it when I don't do it. Like we usually, like I've been offshore for 4 times and I really miss the moments that I'm not there. So yeah, it's been a great experience to have this, to pursue this research in Ireland. And as Octavio said, it's a very interdisciplinary field. And the same thing that was applied for Octavio in computer science is something that I'm trying to do in my research as well, which it's applying machine learning to identify corals within the images that we have. So UCC has provided me with some multidisciplinary background on computer science, which I think for STM is very, very important, especially now. So yeah, it's been a great experience and enjoying it a lot. And I hope that we can, for my PhD, I hope that we can find effective ways to map corals and cold water coral reefs in Ireland.
Thanks, Larissa. No, I can't say I was definitely interested there anyways. But look, guys, I think it's great to hear about all your different experiences and everything that you're studying and what you're getting out of it, because in the end of the day, I suppose studying abroad and investing in your education like that, it's really important that you do get something out of it that you enjoy and that kind of helps you, you know, where you want to go with your career. For the last question, because I don't want to keep everyone too long, it's something that I wish I had heard before I studied abroad. Because
I might just introduce Elisa, who is a graduate
Elisa
from
on,
food.
is she?
Yeah, she's there. In case you want to ask her first. Before
yeah. Hi, Elisa. How are you? Are you okay? I heard the traffic was difficult.
Hi, Neasa. I am very sorry.
Don't worry at all. That happens to the best of us.
Traffic here in Mexico, it's horrible, but I am very sorry. I apologize.
Don't worry. You don't need to say sorry at all. It happens. Don't worry. It's like someone's internet going. You can't apologize for that.
Yes.
So look, if you want, I know you're probably under a bit of pressure because you had to run home with traffic and everything like that. So if you want, maybe just give an outline of what you studied and where you're from. I don't want to be putting you under too much pressure.
No, it's okay. Well, I just graduated from food engineering in a Mexican university called Tec de Monterrey. But before, I studied a food studies diploma, level 7 in UCC. And all this started because in my university, when you want to go for an Erasmus exchange, in my case, in food science or food engineering, there were no universities specialized in food science. So if you want to go abroad, you have to choose like business or administration. And for me, it was not that interesting. But then I remember there was a talk in 2017 when I met Cliona and Dr. Paul McSweeney, and they talk about this food studies diploma at UCC. And I have been always interested in dairy, cows, all about dairy products. And well, I knew Dr. Paul McSweeney because in my dairy classes in Tec de Monterrey, there were my professor, Dr. Ruben. He was always talking about Dr. Paul McSweeney and their investigations and all of that. So when I met Dr. Paul McSweeney, I was like, oh my God, I met a very important scientist in dairy products. So I was like, I want to go to UCC. I want to go to UCC no matter what. So in 2018, I applied to UCC and they got me accepted. So my colleague Diana Villamares and myself, Elisa, were the two first Mexican students who studied the food studies diploma. So it was 1 year, and we saw quite a difference between Ireland and Mexico regarding food processing, food technologies, dairy products, of course. In Mexico, in my hometown, Querétaro, there is Kerry Group, and other dairy companies. But we were always interested about Kerry, and also Kerry, sometimes they call to our Mexican university and they talk about their products. So we were so interested about learning about Ireland. And then with Cliona, we organized visits to small food producers. So like salmon, small companies. We wanted to go to distilleries as well. And then Diana and myself did an internship with Dr. Joe Carey in the food packaging and mussels food lab, and Diana in the sensory lab with Dr. Maurice. And we were working at the Blas Neiran, the Food Irish Awards. So we got a very big experience. We taste all types of different Irish products. We evaluated, we talked with the producers, we learned about sustainability in Ireland, how Ireland wanted to become a green country as well. So when we returned to Mexico, all that knowledge about dairy and about sustainability, we put it in practice in our last year, in our university last year. Then I entered to Kellogg's, and I worked in the sustainability packaging area. So all the things I learned with Dr. Carey, Joe Carey, and all my subjects regarding food packaging, sustainability, I use them, and now I want to apply for a master's degree at UCC. Yep.
No, and that's it. Thanks for coming. I was worried you were able to catch your breath after being stuck in traffic. So I'm glad you got here in one piece. And I think it's a really important point as well, Elisa, is like that what you learn here you can use in the industry and you can use in the job that you're using. It's really important that like kind of that UCC has that industry focus and that the university you choose has that focus. So I think it's a really good point. Just I suppose for the last question, I do think this is my favorite because I suppose I definitely wish I knew some of these answers before, or I got some of this advice before I went. I studied in Montana for a year. I was telling the guys earlier when we were first talking, and I maybe wasn't fully aware of the weather in Montana. I know, Johana, you said how much snow, but I didn't know how much snow. So I wouldn't have really packed the best clothes for the snow over there. So my question to you all will be basically, I suppose, what advice do you have for students that would be coming to UCC? Is there anything that you wish you wouldn't have known before you came? And Elisa, I might actually start with you if that's okay, just because you're on my screen.
Yes, of course. So when I arrived to Ireland, obviously the weather was the worst. Like here in Querétaro or in Mexico, most of the year we have sun and it's very hot. But when I came to Ireland, it was wet, it was raining and it was cold. So my advice for the new students that are coming to Ireland is to stay active. Because, well, I love exercise, and exercise in Ireland was the best. Like I went, I run a lot in Ireland. I hike a lot in Ireland, walk a lot in the Mardyke, in the Fitzgerald's Park. Also, I swam a lot. You have to stay active in Ireland, and you have to adapt to the weather. That's my advice. Most of them is stay active. You can do
it. I'm sorry the weather was that difficult for you. Octavio, I suppose you're still living here, so it might be a little bit different for you, your answer. So really any advice you have or anything you wish you knew?
I wish I would have known more about the winter and the amount of light that is available during the winter time. That one was quite shocking for me to, you know, the fact that you have the sunset around 4 p.m. half 4. That changes, that can have like a big impact on the on anybody really. Because, you know, at least for myself, when I finish work or when I finish my lectures when I was at UCC, knowing that the fact that I finished my lecture around 4 and it was almost dark, that one was a shocking thing. So it's a matter of you know, adapt yourself to that situation. And also a good advice I took that time was just to take some vitamin D during that time. because like you're not getting the sunshine during that season.
Yeah,
so
I
I'll
take
say
it every
about that.
day as well. So that's why I'm laughing.
And especially from people like from Latin America, like us, where you have the sun during the whole year, and then suddenly come to a place like Ireland, even though it's a lovely country, but the fact that you don't see the sun that often, especially during that last part of the year, it's vital. It's a shocking change for people like us.
Yeah, one of my best friends, she's Brazilian, and every time the sun shines, she actually she works from home at the moment, with the company, so she moves her desk outside. The minute it starts, the sun shines, and then she moves it back in. So I'm always laughing at her when she's doing that, to be honest. So yeah, no, look, this is good advice, and I think it's better to be realistically prepared for things than actually think everything's going to be perfect. That's not the way life is. Larissa, I might jump to you next, just for, I suppose, any advice you have or anything you wish you knew.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I can relate to your Brazilian friend there, because I sometimes I do the same thing. Like when the sun is shining, it's just like I get like more excited than probably like what most people would do here. I think, like, yeah, one of the advices I would give is first get a really good rain waterproof jacket. Second is to yeah. Second is to I'd say, like, appreciate the moments that the weather won't be good, and also the moments that the weather is good. So if it's raining, do something that will make you feel better inside the house. And if it's sunny, go out and enjoy the sun, and try to adapt to the situation the best you can. Like, I'm still in Cork, I'm still working from home here, so I know that this has been a challenge for us a little bit, but I mean, the weather, like, makes a difference, and the fact that we are appreciating different things now is actually really nice. I mean, like, going for walks when it's close to getting dark, or like enjoying the sunset, and I think that really makes a difference from like well-being and stuff. So that would be my advice, like enjoy.
No, and I think everyone has learned something different from COVID and what they should appreciate. I think for the whole world, really, it's been a bit of a lesson, really, in some ways. Angela, I can't see you on my screen, so I hope you're still there. But I'd love to hear any advice you have or any pointers.
Yeah, so my advice would be about the accommodation. It's a bit hard to find, I don't know the situation now, but before, it's a bit hard to find good accommodation, like something cheap and, very good quality. But I think you just have to be patient. So my advice is just book an Airbnb or a hotel while you find something better for you with your own requirements. Just be patient, go do the visiting, and you will find something. That if you want to share the accommodation with other students, there are all these options, like with professionals, and then you just find the best option for you. And about the weather, same as you just said, get a very good raincoat. The umbrellas don't work because it's windy, so just don't umbrella. And whatever the weather is, just be ready to go out, because in Colombia, for me, it was like, it's raining, so you watch a movie, you stay at home. And when it's sunny, that is mostly all the time, so you go out and you're happy. But in this case, in Ireland, you have to be ready for rain, and it's very, very rainy and gray, weather. So just be ready and don't look at the weather, get dressed and do your plans, and just go out and go with the flow. And that's it.
No, good advice. I'm laughing at the umbrella comment. It's quite true, I think. So I don't ever use an umbrella. And Johana, sorry, you're gone off my screen, so I hope you're still there and you're still connected.
Yes, sure.
Hey.
I just want to say I relate to your comments, guys, and those were my advice as well. So if we talk about accommodations, so just look for it before, or as Angela said, book an Airbnb, a hotel, and then you will find something for sure. And buy rain boots and jackets. Yeah, the weather is just wet, it's very wet, so there is sometimes that low cloud and it's kind of dark, so try not to be sad, try to be active. We as UCC students have a very nice gym. The Mardike Sport Arena is just amazing, and I remember being there even Saturday or Sunday, going to the spa. I mean, it's just amazing. So the Mardike is very nice, and UCC is an amazing university in general. So if you get the chance to study in Ireland, UCC is a great option.
Thank you. Very kind, guys. Look, I'm just going to, I know we're running a bit later, so anyone, any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, or I don't know, sorry, I can't see yet, but there might be some questions already there just for the panelists or ourselves. There's no problem. I'll pop my email address anyway in there. But yeah, no, I do think the weather is very good advice. As much as I'm laughing at everyone saying it, it is very practical advice, guys. So. Yeah, I think hiking boots, for me, it's actually just the jacket. As long as you have a good rain jacket, I think you can survive anything personally. In this country. So yeah,
they say in Ireland that there's no such thing as bad weather, it's just having the right clothes. So yeah, so it's a good, and also they say if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes because it changes. So yeah,
and there's a lot of fun stories where you're running from pub to pub with a rain jacket on as well. So it's not all sad stories, I promise.
No, but definitely one advice, like I always give, if you see the sun, go out, like go out, get out in the sun, go to the park, enjoy it, you know, because the sun is, you know, I know in Latin America, you're always running into the shade, but here we run into the sun and soak up the vitamin D when we get it. Yeah. So yeah, that's the big difference.
One good thing is that we actually start appreciating the sun. Like we do. Like sometimes it's just when we are in, like from when I'm in Brazil, the sun is just there, so we don't like, yeah, we hide it. But when I'm here, I'm actually like appreciating a sunny day, so it's a good thing as well.
There's one question there in the chat in Spanish. Vanessa's asking, what does it cost to live in Ireland? So I don't know if anybody would like to answer, maybe in Spanish, anyone? ¿Qué costoso es vivir in Cork?
No recuerdo el costo de por ejemplo, de renta. Creo que llegué a vivir con 300, 400 euros al mes, y creo que con eso tenía para cubrir mis gastos, por lo que recuerdo.
Y a comparación con Dublín, ¿qué tal? I'm just asking the difference between the cost of living between Cork and Dublin.
Cork es mucho más barato, especialmente en cuanto a renta. No sé si comida o, no sé, ir a comprar tu despensa, lo necesario, sea tan diferente, pero en cuanto a renta es una diferencia muy grande.
So yeah, no, so Octavio was just saying that rent is kind of around 400 to 500 euro per month in Cork, but in Dublin it would be almost double that. So there's a big difference. Food and stuff would more or less be the same anywhere in Ireland. But there's another question about an Argentinian student is asking, How easy is it to find work when you're studying, when you're a student in Ireland? I don't know if anyone wants to answer that. Maybe Elizabeth, I know you worked most of the time when you were doing your master's.
Yeah, bueno, en español no. Sí, uno tiene el permiso de trabajo que al tener la visa del estudiante puede trabajar, si no me equivoco, 20 horas a la semana mientras uno es estudiante, que es como tener un trabajo de tiempo, de medio tiempo, mientras uno está estudiando. Y luego, después que se gradúa de la maestría, si todavía está esa ley, Cliona, vos puedes confirmar que uno puede trabajar 2 años de tiempo completo, 40 horas a la semana, después que uno ya tiene el título. Yo logré trabajar, pueden ser trabajos relacionados a tu área de estudio o trabajos no relacionados al área de estudio. Y también en UCC hay un espacio que se llama UCC Plus y yo logré trabajar ahí como tutora de matemáticas a estudiantes de primer año. Should I translate that? Is that okay?
Yeah, if you want to say it in English as well, Elizabeth, why not?
Okay, so so when you get your visa, as a student visa, you get the permit to work 20 hours a week. That's for a part-time job, I would say. And then after graduating for the master's or PhD, you get the permission, and I don't know if it is still available, but I think it is, to work for 2 years after your graduation. And still I had the opportunity to work in UCC Plus, which is an entity in UCC, and I could work as a math teacher for first-year students in engineering and mathematics. So we do have opportunity to work as students.
Mm-hmm. And maybe Octavio, I know you did some work in UCC as well when you were finishing your master's, right? And after your master's.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. I think I had a similar situation to Elizabeth in terms of I was looking for a job, so I worked just for a really short period. I think it was just a week or two in a restaurant there. But definitely, after just mentioning that to some of my lecturers that I was looking for a job so that I could stay there for during the summer, I was able to work with one of my lecturers, just helping him to go through his lectures, being almost like an assistant during the summer. And then after I finished my dissertation, that next semester I was offered the chance to being part of some tutorials or some practicals. So I was a demonstrator during a semester. So yeah, like there are definitely chances if you ask with your lecturers, and most likely you may have a chance to work there. So yeah.
Great. There's another question from Daniela asking if that she's just finished maths. Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. So she'd like to chat more with Elizabeth on maths. So perfect. Great. I put the UCC Latin America Facebook as well in the chat, so you can get in touch with us through Facebook. I manage that Facebook, and I can also put you in touch with other Latin American students like Octavio, Angela, Elisa, and others.
Yo solo agregaría el comentario de Octavio diciendo que, bueno, conforme a lo de la comida y así, hay un grupo estudiantil de UCC International Society que, bueno, cuando entras a UCC, te dan como una guía, yo digo la guía de supervivencia, donde te enseñan dónde comprar más barato, los mercados, los supers y así. Entonces, pues, por ejemplo, el Lidl, que la verdad las verduras, las frutas son muy baratas ahí, entonces con los tips que ellos te dan, pues tú vas viendo pues cómo va tu economía y en qué la puedes gastar y ahorrarte y así. Nada más quería complementar con eso.
Mm-hmm. So Elisa just complimented there that there's a great orientation when you arrive on like where to buy food, how to survive your first week and stuff. So it's quite easy. Everything's, you know, you're sent in the right direction during your orientation. There was another question there just about asking what's the selection process like for biotechnology? Neasa, how easy is it?
So it would just depend on your grades, but there's a number of different programs in that field that we would suggest. There's a master's in biotechnology, but there's also a very popular master's in cell biology with bioinnovation. So, and there's also a master's in bioinformatics with computational biology. So if that student, I don't have Spanish, I'm sorry, I'm learning beginner Spanish, but I can't understand you guys that well. So if you want to get in touch with me, I can give you advice. There's a lady, Kelly Dean, as well. She looks after the cell biology master. She's an amazing lady. So she's always happy to have a chat with students as well. Okay, so the selection criteria would just kind of depend on which one you choose, basically.
Yeah, we've had a lot of Latin American students do that master's in molecular cell biology and bioinnovation, and they've done amazing.
It's a really nice
projects.
mix between kind of some business modules, but there's a lot of technical modules and lab modules as well. So students get a really good mix. So they're either in an opportunity to work for industry or research, or some of the students that you know of as well have obviously been involved in the startup company as well. So they kind of develop entrepreneur skills as well, which is great. I'm very conscious of the time because Angela, I know you must be, it must be nearly 1:30 with you. So I'm conscious of the time, guys, and we've gone a little bit over. So I want to say thanks to everyone for joining us. And obviously my details are in there and Cliona's. So like if there are any questions, I'll follow up with a recording anyway. And thanks to all the speakers. Everyone who's joining us in from other locations. Elizabeth, I really appreciate it. Elisa, stuck in the traffic. And everyone in Ireland, thanks for joining me so late. Me and Cliona really appreciate your help. It's just exciting to hear about your stories myself from a purely curiosity point of view. Okay. Lovely to meet you all, and any questions anyway, just feel free to get in touch, okay?
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
you.
Thanks, great to see
Thank
you.
you for inviting us.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.